wanted to give you a shout out and a heads up and a head scratch at the same time. This is off of RSOE. RSOE is a catastrophic event site that catalogs catastrophic events, earthquakes, volcanoes, car accidents, blah, blah, blah. It's becoming less and less reliable. But on their near Earth object programs or their lists, we see some confusing numbers, but a lot of them. And many of these look to be very, very close. One of the closest asteroids to come by Earth was DA-14. DA-14 came by Earth at the same time the Russian event happened. But that thing was 0.04 lunar distances. That's so, and we've had smaller objects come closer, and some of those have skimmed off the atmosphere. But there's a whole slew of really near Earth objects that are being picked up. Some of them look to be duplicates, but then there are also duplicates on the other websites too that chronicle these Earth objects. And when you go to this one's referencing a NASA database, the RSOE is referencing a NASA database, but when I go to the NASA database, what they have doesn't match up with RSOE. And at times I go and come back to RSOE, and where there was one asteroid listed, there are two or three. What I wanted to call your attention to was September 23rd, and there's several asteroids that are supposed to pass by Earth. And if these are the lunar distances, these are coming extremely, extremely close. And generally, the faster the asteroid is, the less likely we will capture it. But then that leads to a lot of theory, but the theory is pretty well been proven that many of these asteroids are iron asteroids and that they are affected by our magnetic field lines. And if you look at the impact craters throughout the United States and throughout the entire world, you will see that they have aligned vertically, longitudinally. So it looks like these things are coming in through the north and south vectors. And I bring this up because every night I try to see and count meteors, get a note of the pattern. And there's some strange patterns out there and new patterns. And for the first time, I'm seeing faint, quick asteroids that are not asteroids, but meteors that are traveling north. So you can figure out what's going on there, I'm sure. But there's also one that seems to be coming very, very close. TCA 212, October 12th, 34 days from now. And even if this was a astronomical unit or a lunar distance, 0.0003. Now, if that's a lunar distance, that's pretty close. And so I try to get specs on this. I couldn't get the size. So what I'm asking is, anybody doing any reports on these near-Earth objects? Why is RSOE reporting the same exact coordinates for distance? And when you look at these lists, you see that they almost appear to be identical or duplicate, but you'll see that the speed will vary slightly. And then there'll be very little differentiating one of these objects from the other than the speed. And so it makes it look like they're documenting two objects that have the same name. So I don't know what's going on, but it's a heads up. In September, we have had quite a few large fireballs, especially the year of Comet Ison. September became a heavy month for fireballs that break the sound barrier. Please comment below on the threads. Let me know if any of you guys are able to get into the orbital diagrams on these. I'll leave you the RSOE site. It takes you right to the orbital elements, and sometimes they're not matching what's being reported on RSOE. So are these all lunar distances? Are these astronomical units? You guys help me out here. It's very confusing. But September 23rd, they got one, two, three. They have three objects, near Earth objects, three on the same day. Okay, so we're starting to catalog these, not a passing of an asteroid, but the passing of two, the passing of three asteroids is what it looks like, and the speeds vary. But everything else looks they're quite similar. So it looks like we're going through a debris stream, but I don't know because I can't get into the actual orbital simulations because my security settings are much too high on my Java browser to allow that simulation to play. So anybody wants to do a video on the objects that Planet X has slung our way, boy, it'd be cool to get some screen captures of these orbital diagrams of some of these things that are going by and see if we can find some commonality. But it sure looks like there's a lot of commonality in terms of distance and speed. Very, very light fluctuations. And I went back and to make this video, I went back and checked some of the parameters right off the NEO database that NASA has. And they change. They're changing. So, and mainly in the speed, but that's quite confusing to me because I'm not able to get into those diagrams, those simulations that simulate the orbit of all these NEO